Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Absolutely Unnecessary podcast. Joined today by Sarmad and Joseph, one who just had a fight and someone who's about to have a fight. So I'm going through the list, and first line's my injury, but I'm not sure which.
So, which injury are you talking about?
Are we going to go chronological? Because how much time do we have?
Hang on, how did you pull up after the fight? How did you pull up after the fight?
Great. Pretty
All good?
Pretty good.
Simo, how have you pulled up after training?
1 day of training. I think torn bicep, broken rib. Yeah. So, thanks for that, Joseph.
We're in the room before we walk out to the fight, and we're just chatting shit, and then Simo starts pissing himself. He's like, "Oh, stop!"
The fucking worst thing with that rib is I got a cough like at the same time. Every time I coughed, it was
so Simo and I were rolling, and things happen, and your rib popped.
Yeah,
and then it was very interesting. It's like a man that knows too much about the human body. Like you would be better off being far less educated because you're like, "Fuck, punctured me lung. If I fly."
Yeah,
I'm going to bleed out on the plane.
yeah. But I was like, I took a couple of breaths and I was like, nah, I think I'm good.
Yeah. Might go to the hospital. Nah, fuck it, I haven't got time. If I die, I die.
Yeah. Actually, funnily enough, I went to the doctor finally yesterday, got the referral to the x-ray, and he's like, just no flying. And I was like, I already have. Yeah. And he's like, that's really dangerous. I'm like, yeah, but only if I've got like a lung puncture, and I was pretty sure I was good. He's like, well, obviously you are, but you might not have been. I'm like, fuck. So I had a pretty good hunch.
That's what happens when you're overeducated about what can
happen. Well, I think you'd just jump on the plane anyway, wouldn't you? Like, because I think... Jesus. I did actually wait it was probably 6 hours from when the injury happened to jumping on a plane. So, yeah. Anyway.
Did you have any discomfort on the flight up?
I think I had like some, honestly, a takeoff, the psychosomatic of like when I was taking off, I was like, can I feel something? Did I just hear a pop? Did I hear something crackling in my chest? Yeah, but no, it was all good. Yeah.
Do you think it would have affected your performance if Simo had have died on the plane?
No, I would have.
Yeah, I reckon you would have been sweet.
No, I reckon it would have been good for me. It would have gave me something else to fight for. This one's for Simo. Thanks for killing him, Joey.
Fuck yeah.
I've been on the plane before with like a black eye. And it started off a little bit swollen, and then as the plane goes on, like it's blown up, and I turn around. I can't remember who it was. I turn around. I'm like, "Is it fine?" They're like, "Yeah."
That sounds like an orbital fracture, just for the record. It sounds like getting blowing up your chest.
It was pretty gnarly.
Because I've had a couple of guys get orbital fractures in Queensland. They've had to drive back.
Yeah, fuck that. You can't fly back with that.
No, because you get the little air pockets.
Yeah, and it's super
what
dangerous.
You're describing
sounds like that, yeah.
Sounds like that. So anyway, well, let's talk about your
fights
on Beatdown.
Yeah. So fought Friday night, last Friday on Beatdown. 3-round fight against Max Kelly. Got the decision.
Fuck, that's super descriptive, dude.
Yeah. I feel like I was there.
Yeah, tell you everything. I'll take you guys. You were there. No, it was so. Took it on 2 weeks' notice, and was expecting a tough fight, and it was a pretty tough fight. Yeah. But
it's funny, like you say that, but obviously I wasn't there. I was in the comfort of my living room. It didn't look like that tough a fight, to be honest. Like you really did shut him down, and as far as fights go, you did the business. Like it didn't look like you took too much damage.
Upon re-watching it, I was like, wow, this is so much more dominant than I thought.
Yeah.
But obviously, I don't know if you've had this, you're in the fight, it's so chaotic.
For sure. It's just, obviously always being at the fights and having that perspective, and then actually not being there and watching it, it was like, it's very different. The crowd, the sounds, the sights, everything compared to watching it on TV. It was weird for me to watch you.
Yeah.
And I think also when you are tired and fatigued, it doesn't make the fight feel easy.
Yeah.
Like, when you're tired, even if you're 9 out of 10 gassed and the other guy's 9.5, so even he's more gassed, but you're still pushing, it still feels like a battle.
It's fucking hard.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Like it's just...
Well, that's the part where I meant, like, it was hard. because it was just so fatiguing.
Yeah.
Like,
and taking it on 2 weeks' notice, like, obviously it's a little bit of a concern in the back of your head about the gas tank because you didn't really get the shark tank. You didn't really do the sprints before.
Probably why I made it to fight day, to be fair, though.
Yeah.
It's the longest camp you've got through in years. So, what are you talking about? I think that's the secret to success.
Maybe we figured out how to approach my
Yeah,
fights.
just 2 weeks' notice. Keep your weight down.
Promoters just don't let me know until a few days before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, even I actually had no idea that, so Max obviously was spent in the first round. It was when I got back in the corner and Simo was like, he's more fucked than you are. And I look over and I'm like, oh, he is too.
Did he break his arm or something?
Yeah. So he reckons on the spinning back fist where you saw his forearm land on my head. Yeah, he reckons he broke it then.
So that was first or second round?
Towards the end of the first round.
Yeah, I thought.
Right near the end of the...
Yeah, like towards the end of the bell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny actually from the outside because I was like... I thought at the end of the first, Max was fucked, and I got in and then went to go, Max is, and I looked down and went, oh, Sarmad's pretty fucked too.
I had him up on the cage and towards his corner, and I could hear Damo saying, he's fucking gassed, he's fucked. And I'm like, is it that obvious? I thought I was
at that stage, you were like something like this kind of. Well, when you almost both fell over and he just almost got on top of you because you were the slower of the two to get up. I think that could have been.
I shot the double and then he's up first.
Yeah. Like he actually got put onto his back and then just sort of rolled away. And you were like on all fours, just going, trying to get back
Give
up.
me a second.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second.
It was pretty.
But yeah, so used a lot of the clinch, hit him with a lot of knees. I think the knees maybe would have put some money in the bank. And
man. You obviously coming from the Muay Thai background, like out of any of the boys, getting kneed by you definitely fucking hurts the most. Like you got those stiff hips. So each time, and to the outside, maybe they don't look like much, but those little knees tapping into your floating rib, like they fucking add up.
They take it out of you for sure. So I suppose taking it on. Apparently, Simo's like, why does he keep leaning into him? But I hadn't told you. I told Sammy that if I'm going to try and pop him from the outside, and I wanted to get him to dip in southpaw so I could get the head kick. I wanted to finish that way, but I said, look, if I lose my gas, I'm just going to walk him down and clinch him and knee him. And apparently you were yelling in the back, what's he doing?
No, I just didn't want you boxing.
Yeah.
Like, because that was when it got 50-50.
Yeah.
So I wanted you playing range, staying long, teeps, open stance, posting on the hips, posting on the foot, doing all that.
Which is essentially...
And then Thai clinching. But there was only a few exchanges where I was like, where you both stand in boxing range and punch on.
It was like two, and I'm like, just fucking grab him.
Yeah. Because I thought you'd have advantage on that range, and then it was a little bit more 50-50 in the boxing range.
I felt that. In the second round, he sort of, I don't know if it was the end of the second or start of the third.
Josh has got some concern. What's up, Josh?
You okay, Josh?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, middle of the second or start of the third, he just decided that if I was going to clinch him, he was just try and hammer with the boxing. And then the last thing he said in the corner was, don't get into that firefight with him.
And when he started, he was punching you from elbowing range.
Yeah.
It would have been nice if you had just dropped a big elbow in on him to keep him honest, I think.
Yeah.
And then grab
him.
Yeah,
because it was a couple of times he initiated that boxing from close, and then you started to box back when you were still in elbow.
It's
like,
don't
should have just gone
crank him, you know.
Because it's that sort of thing. Sometimes you respond with
what they throw.
Yeah. Monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
Plenty of that going around.
I'll say.
I missed that, but anyway. All right, well,
that was Beatdown.
It was a good fight, and then actually, I think I saw most of your interview with Mitch. So, what's the plan next?
It's funny.
Did you watch the main event?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about that before we go. What did you guys think?
I actually just had an interview with Joel, and he asked me a similar question. Obviously, being matched up with Jack before. I forgot about that. Yeah. And we saw Jack fight in Townsville. Like, it would have been good for him to get the finish over Bloods. I think he might be a little underwhelmed. Like, a win's a win, and he did everything right. But obviously,
and against the next UFC,
UFC guy, you want to get a
experience.
finish, and that is like, I'm ready type thing. Really good victory. Didn't look too compromised. Nothing crazy happened. But I was surprised. Bloods, he's on a pretty big losing streak, but he actually really fucking came to fight. Like, he picked up James, slammed him in the first 15 seconds. I was like,
crazy that he got that.
Yeah, and he's like, he actually looked really good.
And defensively grappling, and he kicks from weird spots too, like breaking off from the clinch and sort
that
of like
left head kick over the top.
So
his signature.
I thought that was like it was a good fight to watch.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I was sort of like watching in and out, and I'd seen Jack get to some pretty dominant positions, like on the back and on the neck, and I was like, it's done. And I kind of watched, and then I'd go back and like, it's still not done. And then, good. As I said, he really came to fight. I think it's probably also a bit of if you think he's just going to come for a payday and fall over. I'm not saying that anyone did think that, but I think people know, he's here to fight.
Yeah. Probably a testament to the combat experience. The guy's had a lot of fights. So, he knows how to get through a fight.
Yeah.
And then obviously there was Nate Law and Muzzlogger on that same card. So that was another.
That was a nice fucking punch, man. Because he was
second round.
He was gassed, completely off balance.
Yeah.
And he just went conk.
Yeah.
Flattened him. Nate did well to recover. Like, don't get me wrong, but fuck that Mario must punch.
The African hand grenade is
a great
the
name.
most bang on name for him.
Yeah,
because that's what just one touch and then boom, you're gone.
Yeah, that was a cool fight. Was there another welterweight fight?
I think there's heaps on Eternal. No, that was the following night.
Eternal.
Yeah, well, I mean we can go to Eternal next, but I mean I actually stylistically I think it'd be a fun fight. Like also crowd as a promoter and spectator. I don't know. I haven't thought through.
Oh yeah, for your
Nate Law and Sarmad would be.
Yeah, I'd love that fight next.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
So I don't know. We'll see if someone wants to make that one.
That'd be entertaining for sure.
Yeah.
So
and you probably won't drop him
not
Mario, so it'll be like a death by 1,000 cuts, I suppose.
Yeah, death by bleed out. I'm gonna go do 6 weeks with Mario Loco.
He just gets you working on your union side. He's like, "Yeah, mate, I can move this scab.
Take that barrel up there, will you, mate?"
What other pro fights were on there? There was yours. Was there? There was Alex or Gene or whatever. Gene
Alexander,
my old teammate. He is better than his 0-3 record, so that's cool. He got a win.
Yeah, I mean he's been around for a long time. I remember him calling Sem out as he'd had 10 amateur fights and Sem was 2 fights deep. I'm like, what the fuck's this guy? Way more experienced than Sem calling him out. And then now Sem's 7-3 as a pro and Alex has just got his first win. So you sort of think about how, he was 8 or 10 fights ahead of Sem at that stage and now he's like.
Did you watch the knockout?
Yeah, fucking.
I've never seen someone be hit with overhand rights that many times in one round.
Is that the Nick thing?
It was working. It kept landing. It was bound to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't really an adjustment on the other side.
No, and you could see that coming because that lead hand was low, and he just found the target, and he was just boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So that was cool.
Yeah, so look, I mean, I could probably obviously the welterweight fights. We had that Declan Wolfenden and Connor Downey fight. No, because obviously the welterweight's more fresh because I was probably watching them for the boys. I don't even know what to make of that fight. It was different. Strange. That's all I will say. I don't know about the. I probably haven't. I was so very surprised that Connor got the decision, but I also didn't watch it intently. Yeah. And I was, we were warming up Diellon at the time and not really paying attention.
I watched it.
Yeah. What did you think of the decision?
It was a little stiff.
Yeah.
It wasn't blatant robbery. I can understand. In my opinion, it was a little stiff.
Because someone gave him 30-27 as well, which from what I saw of the last round, it looked like he was I know Connor had his back for a little bit, but Declan was on top in top half. What I thought for 2 or 3 minutes, just
the last round, and he was doing damage to Connor. Wasn't he?
I think it would be really good from a sport perspective to actually someone have a conversation with the refs and be like, can you justify?
Oh, the judges. Yeah.
And just be like, hey, you're not getting hammered for this or anything like that. But I'm curious what criteria you think the athlete has met to actually win this, and then compare it to the judges instead of just the scorecard. Because
I actually had been meaning after the last, was it Road to Hex, to seek some clarification, because I was a little bit surprised with not only decisions but probably some of the
scores. Yeah.
Like the one with Jared Briggs, 30-26 against.
30-26 is insane. You can't.
I thought he definitely won round 2. I don't. At amateurs, I'm not that fussed about the decision, but I actually have genuine curiosity about how they arrived at. Jared was not ripped off in that fight. He was not. I think it could have gone either way. Maybe even I was like 55-45, the other percentages on where I thought it was going to land. I can't remember which one it was, but I thought there was a round each and then one round in dispute, right?
Yeah.
That's how I saw it.
At worst, 29-28.
Yeah.
At worst.
Yeah. So I was very surprised with that. And I think Mark Raymond in that case, he was... didn't even find out which one of the first 2 rounds he actually lost or won. But I was pretty confident he was 2 rounds up going into the third. So that was, geez, they're making some noise out there, aren't they?
Sounds like someone's having a great time.
Yeah. Anyway, I was a bit surprised with that. But over the time, there's been a few different
it'd be good.
And I tried to seek clarification, actually. The only time I've gone up in Queensland was I tried to get clarification on Sem versus Colby on what constitutes a 10-8 round. Like, if you have a look, because Sem beat the like Christ out of Colby in the first round. Twice in a sort of third half drop and landed like 50. Just like, it was as dominant as round as you would see. And then it was 10-9. And then something like where
Jared edging someone out.
Yeah, like he dropped in multiple rounds. Looked like the fight was going to finish. Probably a lot of refs would have called it. And then you look at the Jared Briggs one and someone gave a 10-8 in that. And it's like, how does that? Like, he wasn't dropped at all. He had got positionally dominated, but didn't really take much damage. He had good moments on the feet. You know, like, he lost the round, but a 10-8. So sometimes I do just wonder. I know what the scoring criteria is supposed to be, but obviously people's interpretation. I also think on the Road to Hex Day, there was 18 or 19 fights, 5 ambulances, multiple. I mean, we'll probably touch actually some of that stuff after that, but multiple things. 3 judges on, they're human. And I think in Mark's fight, the first round he finished in an armbar as well, like finished armbarring the guy. The second round, the other guy finished on top, so maybe they gave that. But maybe you don't pay attention to the entire thing or something. You know, like you're there.
Human error.
Well, that show went for 7 hours.
It's a long day. To be locked in watching fights.
Especially with all that upsets. We probably should mention that, like condolences to Jake's family and whatever, the guy that passed away.
I'm pretty sure everyone would be aware of it. It's out in the news and all of that. But young athlete from Matt Masters passed away after a fight at Path to Hex. Tragic. Anytime that happens, you know.
It's not what you want in the sport at all.
And as long as I've been involved in it in Victoria, I don't think there's been a death.
No, and I mean, I think also this one's a little bit, I won't say different because it's rhabdo, which is...
Yeah, it's not like from the concussion.
Yeah, not a head injury or those sorts of things.
Just the overexertion leading up to his camp and like...
Well, I think, I mean...
Not too sure what...
I don't want to say, but... There's obviously a lot of speculation on that because I don't think would there be any confirmed tests that was happening I think assumptions are being made. I mean, we don't know. We're not on the inside on that. I'm sure there'll probably be more to come out. I'm hoping as a coach that there is some learnings to take from
minimize
that. I hate just that this happen again. And if there's some learnings that, it turns out he cut 10 kilos the day before and his kidneys were because obviously rhabdo attached to kidneys and the weight cut. So, you know, if there was a huge weight cut, it'd be good to know that. If it was a training load thing, if there was something that was, all that
I
sort
did
of stuff.
A bit of research, there could be a genetic condition that leads to
I think
but
it'd be extremely unusual in a 9-minute event. to get wrapped up. Like, all the ones of, obviously it's very strongly associated with CrossFit and the
military.
Like long Ironman.
Yeah.
Like long endurance.
A lot of this is hearsay, but I did read somewhere that he was experiencing symptoms prior to the event.
But I mean,
what from or doing what?
I mean, that's
hopefully something.
Yeah, I'd hate to think that was the case where there was obvious symptoms and they got ignored. But it could also be, but how do you also go, well, what were those symptoms? Was it fatigue? Was it lethargy? Because during fight camp,
lethargy.
And I don't obviously know, I'm not sure exactly if he regained consciousness at all post-fight, so there might not have even been a chance to discuss that with him. But look, I mean, it's tragic, it's horrible.
Family,
regardless,
life ahead of him.
it's heartbreaking, and
so thoughts are with him.
To the families, the friends, the guys at Matt Masters, and hopefully people can learn from this and it won't happen again.
Yeah. And it'd be great if it is, like, I can't help but think that the weight cutting, it'd be good to do something about the weight cutting, especially for amateurs.
Yeah.
Like a walk-in maximum weight you can go up, or this or that. Like, it's... Yeah. I understand the need at pros and, well, not even the need. It'd be great if the whole thing can be like that, but geez, at amateurs, it'd be good to make the weight cut part safer.
Yeah, like they have to go to work on a Monday.
Yeah.
Fucked from a, like it.
Yeah.
And they're not getting
they
paid.
can also, the other thing is you could fight so much more frequently if you just were fighting at your new walk around weight.
Yeah.
That's one thing, like the Muay Thai Vics, they weigh in day of the fight.
Yeah.
And like, we've got a few guys here and there. Say they're fighting at 67, their out of camp is like 70 kilos.
Yeah.
And I think that's positive, and they're doing that every month, and the boys are fighting every month.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah. It's so much better. When you have to do this, because you really don't want the guys, if they've done a proper weight cut and dehydrated, to back up 3 or 4 weeks later.
Well, it takes like a week or two just to recover from the weight cut itself.
Well, it's 2 to 3 weeks for your cerebral spinal fluid to regenerate. So you wouldn't want to go one on one.
And then cut again. Then it's terrible.
I kind of think when you're doing a proper weight cut, 6 weeks, is about the minimum I want to see guys fighting. That's the bare minimum. That's if you get through unscathed, So, it's a bit of a...
It'd be interesting what the board is going to do after this, and obviously...
I just hope they take a minute. Like, I don't think...
It's not reactive.
I don't think WA is better off for their knee... I shouldn't say the knee-jerk reaction from the... Obviously, there's a tragedy of the guy going running there and, the death... it was actually a girl, wasn't it? Sorry, it was a female. I think.
Yeah.
Who went running to cut weight, and then they brought in all these rules in WA around the weight cutting, no dehydration aids, only one way. But it doesn't get followed.
That makes it worse.
And I think unequivocally, I know why they were sort of saying, because if you weigh in and you're over, then you're going to go dehydrate to lose that weight. But instead, people just cut more, make sure they're under.
The scales
and it's such a... that rule it does not help anything.
Yeah, and
I think a little bit more of an evidence-based approach would be the way to go,
the problem is people are always going to...
Try to game the system.
For sure.
I know the one system does get gamed, right? To a degree. But if you still pass that piss test, you are not severely dehydrated.
Sure.
And it will stop the deaths.
Well,
it will stop
100%. When I fought on 1, I didn't fight at 77. I fought at 84.
Yeah. It will definitely stop. Like, I know people go, there's things you still do your carb cut, you still do your sodium thing. You're obviously going to cut body fat, which of course what you want to do anyway. And people talk about, you're drinking the water and you're holding it in your bladder and all these sorts of things, but you're still drinking water on weight cut.
It is,
and you're not.
It's not perfect.
I think as far as it goes, like someone will try and manipulate any form of weight cut tactic or any tactics to minimize weight cutting. I think as long as they can't manipulate it to the point of killing themselves, that's pretty much the desired outcome, right?
Yeah. So that and I think that with 1 they kind of achieved because the guy obviously at 1 died in the weight cut, and that you just look at that and go, man, it's unnecessary.
What a waste.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, let's go. So back to the card. Actually, I was only going to cover the pros, but I will say I thought the Cage Fisher Max Davison fight was great. Cage just went after it. Max was very highly touted. highly touted
Cool.
sort
High
of.
level Ami boys going at it.
Yeah,
Really cool.
yeah, and Akaji's only still young, but he really, like Max looked quite a little bit cleaner on the feet and everything, but Cage just had that dog in it. Like,
he knows how to make it a dog fight.
Yeah, he just made it a dog fight. And,
like that.
Yeah, so
it was a bit of a height advantage too for Max.
Oh, Max looked, he was like.
So Cage did well to close the distance.
Yeah, he just, caution to the wind.
You definitely
through,
want to
like-
be able to fight if your name was Cage.
Yeah. Just live it up to it.
And the Matty Ian, just from memory, just sort of kind of outclassed him.
Yeah.
That Markel's got like heavy hands, like he's a stocky, like not the cleanest, not the most technical thing, but I'd say he's a mini muzzlogger.
Yeah.
Like I think before that, you can click on his record, but I'm pretty sure he knocked everyone out first or second round as an amateur. Another one
That's
below.
the wrong guy.
That's definitely the wrong guy.
Come on, young Jamie.
Marco, the other side.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he knocked everyone out at amateur.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Rear naked choke.
TKO. So his only loss is to Kevin.
Coppenwell, but that's
It's a great loss.
Yeah, he's been in the wilderness, hasn't he? Like poor Kevin, he has the fight of the year against. Well, to be fair, you have that performance against Harry, upper weight class, and you're only now 1-1 or 1-2 or 2-1 or what's Kevin now?
Usually with the fight of the years, it leaves people sidelined for a little while.
Yeah, but I believe he's fitting
2-1.
He's actually in your position, 2-1.
When?
Yeah, but
When was that? August 2025? Oh, so it hasn't been too long. Maybe
It's-
people just don't want to fight him, to be honest.
being real as a coach, I'm like, guy's 2-1. He's fucking good.
It's not a good scalp on paper, and he's fucking dangerous. So,
He's in a rough position, and that's a horrible thing that it's sometimes like that, but you've got other guys.
Nature of the game. But even his amateur record is pretty good.
Yeah.
so on to Dill's fight.
Dill's fight.
Fuck, he came out hot, didn't he? Young Dill.
Too hot. Yeah.
He looked really good
Till he didn't.
until he did.
For however long it was before it went into that exchange, he looked very sharp, I would say.
3 seconds of sharpness.
Yeah,
I mean,
that is Dill's,
that's
as we know.
That's his pitch at the bar. Look, he'll hopefully learn from that. He kind of threw a few of the defensive basics out the window on the ground and
came in too hot.
Yeah, to be fair though, the 2 slams he got off a lot of the times would distract if not knock the person out, at least distract him to let go of the Kimura or to let go of the triangle. Like we've seen,
Templar looked good
He
off
stayed
his back
calm.
as well. He stayed calm. He had that nice little Casato with the
the
Kimura grip.
yeah.
Thought that was really good, solid. He did the right things.
Yeah, he stayed calm under pressure, and I think
Tucked
that's
his chin.
the same. Yeah, like not dissimilar to the Lachlan Stitt fight.
Yeah.
Where I think the guys probably didn't maybe show him the respect that should be.
He definitely deserves that respect.
Yeah. And I know. Look, Dylan's talk wasn't disrespectful.
No.
Like he did
No,
not
no.
respect him on the night. He was definitely like hyped up and
Yeah.
confident, which is at the same
Some
time that's what you
people need
want.
that, yeah.
Like so. And Dylan's probably one that I would definitely not try to talk down from that headspace.
To be fair, in the past, that hype sort of has worked out for him, where he's gone in and finished the guy. But I think as you get higher up the level of
and
competition,
people become more solid mentally. The fury doesn't
correct.
work. So
That's where you
and
gotta
I think
become
Dylan's
smart.
it was technically good enough to take his time.
Oh, for sure.
Like
Dylan's a great grappler in the room.
and his striking's improved, and he was looking good on the.
Yeah.
There's probably all the talk was we're going to keep it standing for a bit, and then if we need, but back yourself in the grappling, he does to exchange to get on top. It definitely wasn't a lot of talk of the early shot, which came, but but that, as I said, he's like, I don't know why I shot, but that wasn't the problem.
No,
like
not
there was
at
nothing wrong with doing that.
And
So,
I think, these we've all lost. These lessons do suck, but they do make the fighter too.
yeah,
And him going 1-1, I think will light a bit of a fire and more of a fire under his ass. And he's walked out of there and he was training on the following week.
yeah.
He's healthy. Losing absolutely sucks, but
Yeah, not getting injured, not getting iced, and
As far
whatever
as
else.
it goes, that's good way to go out.
Costa and Timur, I didn't see the fight.
I did. It was kind of a fun fight. Like two vets going at it. It's always fun. I think they'd done a jits match a month before against each other and then fought, and they're like, "Oh, we'll fight again" or something after. So that was actually a good watch.
Yeah.
Did you see Medina and Kuhn?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
We actually chatted to Medina before, and props to him. He did exactly what he said. Probably keep it long with the kicks and then shoot and submit him.
Yeah, he ended up on the bottom, deep half.
Yeah.
And then next thing he was on Kuhn's back. Like, it was classic.
Well, to be honest, even when he was going, like, Josh was staying heavy on top, and when he got he had underhook Cosotto, and I was like, "Ooh, I reckon now." And straight away, I was like, "I think he's going to get there." Inched
away. It was
out.
nothing.
Nah, it was like
speedy, or he's just classic, really clean.
Yeah,
jiu-jitsu, and he got it on his back, and he fucking had that choke in deep.
Yeah, got him bellied out. Yeah, it was. And look, to be honest, like, you really nothing against Josh, but you really like to see someone that's. I know he'd lost quite a few to come back, get a win, and he's still hanging around, and he's still he's still got a lot.
17 and 16.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that's a lot of fights.
Yeah. So
a lot of pro fights. And
to be honest, I really like Jesse, and obviously he's come and trained a bit. I mean, but it'd be a great fight for like an hour or something like that. It's like, because he'd be like really pushing, But I'm not saying if Jesse's listening, I'm not calling. I'd probably prefer not.
Yeah.
For the boys not to fight him, he's
a good
dude, and I like him. But to be fair, Al's not going to hurt anyone.
I don't know about that.
No. He'll hurt himself. And then the main event, Vendy versus Myers. Did you watch it?
I watched a fair bit of it.
It was. It started off pretty good for both ends, and then Darcy just
got the ball rolling.
I
think, to be honest, to be fair to Matt, he's had 2.5 years out
with an ACL,
and that's a hectic fight to come back to his first fight after.
He's come back to the hardest fight in the division. Yeah. Would have been cool
to see him get a warm up.
Like something to break the ice. 2 years and a big injury like that. You know, Matt's got pretty big balls doing that straight out.
So all the respect to the world for Matt.
And he's good.
And he's good. He just looked fatigued.
He looked great coming out to it, but it's just, like you said, just maybe the conditioning, the momentum of fighting for 2 years hasn't been there against someone who has had that.
Well, Darcy's probably had 4 or 5 fights in that time, and probably had a lot.
What do you think happens next for Vendy at 7-3 in middleweight? Do you think another title defense and then something international?
I don't know. Mitch was saying that he's off, that's already a done deal. I don't know.
At middleweight, 7-3 is pretty attractive. You know, like that.
It's probably enough. It all comes down to the spots. How old is he? Is he 30?
I think he's 30.
30. Yeah. Can we hit that?
He may need one more. They'll probably know better.
But who would he fight?
Middleweight's really shallow here, but it's not. It's not that shallow globally.
They would definitely have to bring someone in, I think, because.
you also look. His last 2 opponents are pretty good.
Yeah, John Martin Fraser.
You actually have a look. Like I was kind of at the time going, oh, look, he's been at it for 10 years and he's fighting this Jack James kid. But Jack James has ended up being good. He also beat Jack Dalla early on. So some of the fights at the time, I was like, oh, he probably could have stepped up but a lot of those fights have aged pretty well.
Yeah.
So who's he? And James O'Brien, I remember that. He walked and sort of did a step up knee, and James hit him with the and then obviously Izzy Fedorkefu did the same. But Izzy, that was back when Izzy was cracking and not wrestling too. Yeah. And then who scroll down? Who was the original loss? I'm just out of curiosity.
Matt Elon.
Oh yeah. Jez fought him.
2014.
Yeah.
He's been on the circuit for a little while.
Yeah. Anyway, but look up. Who knows what's next? I'm not that close. You've seen people get through. If a middleweight's going to get grabbed from Australia, he's the guy.
It's cool. And I think the more Aussies getting on the contenders and international opportunities is great.
So it'll just be whether they need someone in that class. I actually got the contenders email from Mick. And he said, these are the classes I'm looking at. Yep. And middleweight was one of the classes that they wanted people. So, but they were very big on the bold young fighters.
Yeah,
They literally said don't want people 30 and over.
Wow.
Yeah.
So whether or not they might break the rules on that, but contender being 30,
That's old for contender. Yeah, right.
I mean, I think that was unfortunately what happened with Ben Johnson. His feedback was because I think he's like 35 or something.
Which is a shame.
I think if you're good enough, you're good enough. But I also understand it from an organisation point of view. If you're like, we're going to at the start, no one knows we're going to build you. We're going to put media behind you. And if at 35, you know, you might still be very good then, but they know that there is a decline. It'd be interesting to
see their metric on that. Like 30, we want 4 years out of the athlete before we turn them over. You get them at 36, 40, at too late. You know, like it'd be cool to see their number because there would be some sort of...
And there'd also be... Not everyone the UFC signs, they bring you into market push and think you're going to be the next champion.
Some people...
So if you've got a really good record, you can be the guy for the guy. You know, and you just got to realise that sometimes... And it doesn't mean you have to play by their rules of I'm here to lose.
That's
but
the chance, you know.
They definitely sign people to be B-sides. Same as that. And you might also just hope that you get signed in that vein and try flip the narrative.
Flip the script.
Yeah. So... Anyway, so that's that. So
moving on to very exciting things. Joey heads off to the States for his PFL fight.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Leave next week. So Sammy and I head out, and then the rest of the coaching crew comes.
Yeah.
So
when's Andy? Is he like the day?
I think.
Same day as me, maybe.
Oh,
I should actually hit him up to see if we're flying together.
Yeah, I think he might be. So, have a good crew out there and haven't been to the east coast of the States, so be good. Pretty pumped, man.
How's camp been?
Real better than the last one, 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yes, you get some notice for this one.
I'm feeling good. Body's good.
It's been a bit cranky, you know.
He's
always a bit cranky.
Crankier than normal.
No more cranky than normal.
Tried to cheer Dill out with a couple of good dog shots yesterday.
Do that at the best times. Everything's been going well.
Yeah.
And it's been good. Everyone's had fights or been fighting, so it's like everyone's peaked at a similar time, which is
last
nice.
week was a little bit rough bodies wise, but it's good that everyone got through.
Like sometimes, you know, if only one guy's fighting, the other guy's not that this ever happens with you, Sarmad, but some people, they're off doing their own thing and focused on them, whereas when there's 3 or 4 guys all on around a similar time, it's like this big...
Makes the energy different, doesn't it?
Yeah. So that's been really cool. I can't wait to get out there and fucking have a crack.
It's going to be awesome. Against Thad Jean.
Yeah.
Good decorated background. I think
8-0, banger, hometown guy too. Yeah. So I do enjoy that a little bit, going to the hometown and
another absolute upset. Let's go.
That's always fun and bit of extra fuel. Yeah, always cool.
How do you find going in there as the enemy in enemy territories? Does that give you...
Well, when you're from the block, you have such a big chip on your shoulder anyway. I don't mind it because, I've fought all around the world. It just feels normal. I actually find it a little more stressful fighting in front of the hometown crowd because it's like, oh, my mum's here and everyone... The expectations,
more pressure.
Yeah. Whereas going somewhere, I'm like, I'm here to fuck shit up, you know? So,
I definitely never really wanted to fight. I did the one on Hex and I was not, that was...
Yeah, especially in the gym and that would be...
I didn't I really didn't want to sell tickets or have people there or tell my mate, I'm not, I much prefer to just disappear and go do it, you know? So
at the start of my career, I fucking hated fighting in Melbourne. I would do anything to avoid it. And then probably after maybe the 3rd pro fight, I was like, fuck it. I stopped caring. Whoa.
Hey, we got a guest. Yeah. There's no feeling like shutting up away.
Yeah, it's always it's good being a party pooper.
Yeah, that was so nice.
Okay.
So what else have we got on the agenda there. We won't go into game plan. But,
you guys will see that.
You've got
in
Khan
2
back at
weeks.
the gym. I'm not sure what. Yep.
Khan
It's good to have Khan back at the gym.
It's
We
good
love
to see
Khan.
Khan. And,
Yeah.
always a good training partner and good to have him on.
Yeah,
So
it'd be good, obviously, with Jack when Jack's back from his injury that they'll be there. Haven't seen Sam since his fight, but it'd be good for him because it'd be.
It's good to get the featherweight boys back, with some energy. And now I don't have Khan and Jack done a camp together while being in the UFC. I feel like that's going to have some.
That'll have some fucking benefits for both.
Yeah.
100%.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
it'd be cool if they were booked on the same card.
yeah, it'd be great. Maybe we'll try and aim for Perth or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be
epic.
huge.
Yeah.
What's next
To
in the gym?
Jenko's obviously just coming back. Lisa obviously had a meaner play in the last one, so it was unfortunate. So we're trying to. The pool in Australia for the girls is
it's so
there's
rough.
pretty much Amina and Jacinta, both of which she's fought, but she'd fight either of them. But
what do you do?
yeah, I mean,
Either take her somewhere
Reece
or-
is trying to get her stuff internationally, so
Like a UAE.
UAE, Octagon,
yeah.
Aries.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like that's probably the move for.
But she's probably not an easy beat.
Yeah.
She didn't get finished by Cynthia or Jan Quay, and the split against Jan and stuff. So, her record's still good at 7-3, but I think if you have a look, people know that it's a tough fight. So
They might not be keen to bring her in.
Most of the organisations are not lining up to bring her.
What about putting her on bare knuckle in Perth?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I reckon Lisa could become the bare knuckle queen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure, let's give it a go. I'm willing to. I'll book it like a week before a wedding. Yeah, so the wedding's coming up. Should be good. Yeah. What else have we got? What's the hardest discipline to get good at in MMA? Oh,
This will be interesting.
Triangle defense, Dylan.
What do you think, Sarmad?
Jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu for sure.
Simo?
It's so variable between people. Like that's what I would say. I think jiu-jitsu is easier to teach in a systematic format than striking. Striking you can definitely still teach in a system and try to get that, but it moves a lot faster. So, and I think also people, but you're probably going to say the same about grappling. It comes natural, it doesn't. But I think with
the time to application, I think for striking is less.
There's less stuff to
100%.
learn. So there's less stuff. You can get some, if you have 1 year of training in striking and you are natural at it and athletic and someone else has had 5 years, you can definitely bridge that gap. If you have 1 year in grappling versus 5 years in a good grapple, you won't bridge that gap.
Guys, we fully forgot. Brad Massimo also fought on a
Sorry, yeah.
it was a dominant 3 hours display. And why Brad came to me is
Striking?
the striking and the time to application. I think I've seen that guy in a striking class maybe once in the whole time I've trained at Absolute.
He does not own a pair of gloves.
And he just goes into
that's
that
not
fight.
an exaggeration. I've had to loan him and then he busted because I gave him an old pair. And
He's throwing teeps, head kicks, doing it exactly like how a southpaw would, and then closing the distance.
Maybe he's figured out the best striking training is no striking
There's
training.
100%.
And it was funny because that's what we talked about the distance. I was like, at the back, I want you to blast your left kick. Because Max, the guy who's fighting, likes to grapple. And I thought he was pretty wild and throws that kick. Because he's actually got a power. He's got a so I'm like, let that fucking thing go and make him shoot. And then
The guy doesn't even need to train it. Simon's just like, hey, just do this. And he's like, say less.
it was
that should answer that question.
Like he's going to work on his striking. So next opponent, beware.
Watch out.
He's
It's
going to be all
He's going
striking.
for the knockout.
Yeah.
That could be his downfall, though.
Yeah. I mean, he actually still will have a crack in the striking when he does turn up to sparring. It's
Absolute MMA's Ryan Hall.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So you reckon jits is the hardest?
Yeah.
You reckon
No, I do think you can get...
individual dependent, or you reckon?
Yeah, I think some people, though, with striking just don't ever get... the biggest thing is, I reckon if people get put into sparring too early and get the bad habits, like they look away, they're flinching, that can be so hard to break because they'll get positive reinforcement from coming up and looking away and doing all those things. I think sometimes habits are easier to fix in grappling than they are in striking. And you've got, so from a coaching, especially live at an event, I've kind of got more confidence in coaching people through grappling that can't, because half the time, like on fight day, if someone's grappling deficient, if you're on the cage, I feel I've got a lot of time to talk you through defense or what to do or where to do. It's too late. It's like, oh,
put your hand up and
yeah.
I think a good way of looking at it is how many black belts do we have in the gym?
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu black belts. And then how many black belt strikers? Like in Ollie's class in jits, how many black belts will be on the mat? 4, say, right?
I don't know.
Just say
it's not, but yeah.
Whereas in the striking classes, there's not. I think it's easier to get dangerous at striking very quickly, but it's very hard to master it. Whereas I think jiu-jitsu is harder to learn at the start, but it's a lot easier to master. Is my perspective. And the wrestling.
Well, what do you define as mastering?
Close to mastery.
Yeah.
Like I think if you've got a black belt, you've got a form of mastery.
If you then train against someone that is even slightly similar, like I sort of say, if you've got like a black belt, so you're 10 years of training and you get someone who learns pretty quick but has been doing grappling for a year, you're going to mess them up. Whereas in
striking, it's like the 1 year guy.
If he's really athletic and can crack,
it's not as clear cut.
Yeah.
And the wrestling, that's a different thing together. I think a lot of people can pick up a few things with wrestling really fast.
Yeah.
Like a rugby guy, get a
double
straight away.
Yeah.
But then the finer details of that are even harder to master than the jiu-jitsu in my opinion.
Yeah, like all your chaining attacks and
So of the 3 range, and that's not even talking about the cage work or anything like that, of those 3 primary ranges, I think the jiu-jitsu is the hardest to start, easiest to master. Striking's the easiest to start, hardest to master, and the wrestling somewhere in between.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Biggest misconception about MMA? I don't know. Josh just served up some rubbish for the agenda today.
I think everything's pretty bang on.
What's that? We can wrap it up now. No, it's all good. No, I'm joking.
Do you get nervous going into a fight? Do you get nervous? You never seem nervous.
As I walk into the cage, I have that hot flush and tingly feeling of the pre-performance.
Yeah.
But I'm not nervous, dude. And I've got my own psychological way of dealing with that, and I wouldn't recommend it to everyone. It's how I live my life. Some people can do it, some people can't. For me, if I die, I die, dude. Like I'm going out doing.
Do you do like settle stuff before you go in the cage? For me, like my routine was like leave a video message for the kids on my phone,
like just in case.
Because I would hate to actually be dying, going, shit. I didn't,
I left the
I
oven
pack
on.
my suitcase. Like I fold my clothes.
Yeah.
Which is not in my nature anyway.
Yeah.
But I do that before.
I've never folded my clothes.
Just in case I die and then it's embarrassing if you've got to like do my jocks or something.
That's fair. You want to go.
Yeah. But it's a form of like just going, you just put yourself at ease.
That's
I don't know, like, because I feel comfortable in that notion that, this or my life insurance is up to date. Just cover this. Yep. All right. We're good to go.
It doesn't mean my next of kin would hate me.
What's that?
Nothing but debts.
Yeah.
You've probably left the laundry in the washing as well and shit like that.
When you talk about the tingling, I liken it to the like a roller coaster starting. You hop on a roller coaster
just as you drop a cap.
Okay, I don't know.
The come up.
No, he's pepped up. Hey, you've got some chalk on your face.
Do you get nervous?
It's very similar to what you say. The fear of the unknown sort of like gets me hyped up. But for me, that feeling, that rush, I just got to make sure it doesn't come too early. Because then I blow my wad before I go out. But I always try and time it. It's for me, when it hits is when we're in the cage and I look across at the other guy and I'm like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And then that's for me when it hits. But yeah, I've had in the past where I've mistimed it and I've like hyped myself up beforehand and I've gone out
too
flat.
much. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. This is an interesting one. If you could recruit any fighter to the gym, who would you choose? Wow.
Bryce Mitchell.
Platinum Mike Perry.
That's just where he's. Look, I think for me it'd be so I'd be wanting someone in coaching stuff like that.
Don't answer it practically. Come on.
You mean don't
you can answer it.
I mean, Bryce Mitchell would be great. We chat about Adolf. What's that?
I reckon Makachev for me.
Islam.
Yeah.
Or Habib.
I think that's... Well, he's not a fighter anymore. He's a coach. Oh, active. I would choose one of those guys with a skill set.
Doesn't want to come on the podcast. So he's
I know, it's
chirping
fucking
in.
chest.
Start barking on.
Proved what?
I improved it.
Definitely not. Yeah, I would choose someone with like maybe a De Bronx, someone like that with a skill set that's not really in Australia, something a little unique.
This is a weird left of field one, but I think someone from the MMA nerds, like who's that?
Carlos, fuck off.
no, I was gonna say Caio Borrallo.
Yeah, the middleweight guy.
Yeah,
The glasses.
Yeah.
I actually like that roofie.
that roofie
But
guy.
I don't think you can teach that. From an entertainment perspective, roofie would be cool, but I
Is
don't
he
know
the
if you can teach-
lightweight or
There's wild
He fought Jamie Malaki, and this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Did like a flying scissor sweep.
Yeah. It was like some Kung Lee stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then did the spinning heel kick knockout of Bobby Green the other week. Yeah.
They're doing some cool stuff, those MMA nerds.
For sure. Whatever they put in the water over there. It's creative. But I think Habib's a great coach.
Yeah,
You know?
something like that.
Yeah.
What's that?
Habib's a great coach, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be looking. I mean, it's also like, if you're talking in real sense, they're like, who do I need for this person that we don't have in the gym for a look? And like that's kind of what you'd be looking at. So, but yeah, I think you guys are probably looking at it more from not the realistic, practical point of view.
I reckon like one of those, like a Tapuria, one of the guys, Makachev, someone like that.
Yeah.
I reckon that'd be.
Yeah, that'd be
For
cool.
Dylan, like a John Jones.
I think Ryan Hall.
Right now, yeah. And our final question, which is pretty good. This will be interesting to see what Simo says. Best team person in the pro team. So who gives the most? I'm going to go first. I'm going to give you two answers. First one is Alistair. I think, and it doesn't even matter what weight class you're in. He will fucking do anything for you. Like, he's done Shark Tanks for me. He does it for all the featherweights. He's helped. Al's just awesome. And out of the welterweight guys, Sammy, for me, on a personal level, he definitely gives me the most time, pads or whatever it is always traveling, happy to help. So, yeah, those two for me. But yeah.
Those two really came through for me in the camp in the short time. Al became my Max Kelly in the week.
I'm pretty sure Max would be upset by that statement. But,
Sorry, Max. But yeah, also you see him jumping into all the Shark Tanks and just like brings up the vibe too.
Yeah, like
and he's here regularly.
He's here so much, and one of the Shark Tanks, he's like, "Oh, do you need me?" And I go, "Nah, mate. Like I've got the bigger boys in all good." And he's like, "Oh, it's okay. I'll time it for you."
Yeah,
like, fuck, man. He could have gone home.
Yeah.
And he stuck around and did the time. Like he's just a good dude.
Yeah.
And then Sammy was a lot of value going up to.
Yeah.
Because there's some moments we shared in that weight cut.
Look, I couldn't argue with either of those. I think actually both you guys are all good. I mean, of all the welterweights, you two and Sam are really good. I mean, there's no one else that I can think of. No.
I think
actually, I think you guys all work for each
the
other really well.
the four of us definitely like.
And I tell you who was a great team person who's back in the gym this week just for travel. Jasper.
Yeah.
He was a legend.
Jasper's a one of a kind, man.
So he was. It was good to see him in last night. Or last night? What's today? No, the night before. He was in on Wednesday night, but he's here. Him and Josh were actually working, which is good. But yeah, I think we're lucky there. But in the featherweight crew, definitely.
Yeah, Al's fucking cut above. Really.
Yeah. But it's also the funny thing is also look, his progression's probably been one of the most rapid, and I'd say he's also been like the most improved.
He just chips away.
Yeah, and so he's willing to help everyone else, but it doesn't mean that you don't get benefit from that as well. All right. Well, there's nothing left on the Josh's agenda. Is there anything else we need to cover? Is it like a UFC event we need tips for, or anything else? No. All right. Oh, good.
Nice.
Well, thank you very much for your time, guys. Thanks for coming in. Until next time.